Hello, everyone. My name is Siddharth. I'm the co-founder of Tweak.world. Tweak.world is a digital platform that expresses everything and anything about sustainability. And so we aim to achieve sustainable work style and sustainable working models across the world by inspiring 1 billion people across the world. And today I have a very special guest, Captain Farah Khan Pethe, who is a commercial pilot, worked for more than 23 years with Indian Airlines, Jetairways, etc. And she has flown to almost around 45 destinations across the world, around 14 international countries, and flown more than millions of people across the world. She's a pilot mentor, she's a certified life transformation coach, and she's also a public motivational speaker. And she is also an author, Conquering the Blue Skies, My Journey to Becoming a Pilot. I mean, she will tell all our viewers about what the book is all about. It's pretty interesting. I saw it on the Amazon. So she says, always believe in yourself and you will be able to soar high above the blue sky. So today we are actually going to discuss one of the pressing topics across the world, which is gender equality and sustainability in general. However, I will quickly give this opportunity to Captain Farah to say something about this and introduce herself. Now it's over to Farah. Thank you, Farah.
Thank you so much, Siddharth, and good evening to all our viewers and listeners who are attentively waiting to hear what the episode is all about. Yes, we're going to cover a very important topic, and Siddharth, all credit goes to you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. You already introduced me completely, so there's nothing to add on. I will definitely talk about my book. So we're going to discuss gender inequality. So Siddharth, yeah, you can go ahead so that I can cover as much as possible from my side.
Thank you. So I would like to, I mean, from first question, I would like to understand, I mean, if you can give a highlight on what is gender equality in general to all our viewers, whoever listening to us today. What does gender equality mean in general? Kind of a definition or concept. Like, what is it all about?
Right, right. So, technically speaking, gender equality means everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms without distinction of any kind. You speak about language, race, religion, color, background, sexual orientation, birth, or other status. Now, the cultures and traditions are the main or the maximum influential forces which are directly affecting basic human rights in a society. Statistically, women and girls represent half of the world's population. Now, women have a critical role to play in sustainable development goals, hence recognizing women's equality and empowerment, it spurs productivity and economic growth. Now, there has been progress over the last decades. Girl-led movements are stopping child marriages. More and more girls are attending school and completing education, which is a sign of a progressive nation. More women are seen serving in parliament and positions of leadership, and laws have been reformed to advance gender equality. So there's a big change which is happening throughout the world. Companies have been using gender inclusive language to promote gender equality and eradicate gender bias as well as gender stereotypes. However, because of the effect of the global COVID-19, the coronavirus, the pandemic has also led to steep increase in violence against women and girls, particularly domestic violence, which has intensified. Nonetheless, the United Nations and renowned organizations worldwide are working relentlessly to end all forms of discrimination against women and girls around every corner of the world. So yes, we are stepping towards the right direction. And this is the simplest way what I can explain to you about what gender equality is all about.
Yeah, thank you so much. And can you highlight some of the real examples, real life scenarios in your life, having worked in one of the finest airlines in the world, in the country, so you must have faced kind of scenarios or life scenarios where you must have faced kind of biases or anything, for that matter, any sort of like, such scenarios, like any bias or anything related to focusing on gender or something?
Yes, Siddharth. Yeah, quite a lot of them, I would say. I did have a RDS journey all the way till today, when I was trainer in my airline. Well, talking of gender diversity in aviation, it is a hot topic and it remains a big problem even today. Now,
Mhm.
as per International Air Transport Association, that is ITA, the proportion of women holding C-level positions is just 3% in aviation, and that of female pilots globally is just 6%. So as
Okay.
you can see from the staggering numbers, the aviation sector, it clearly continues to have the poorest gender balances.
Mhm.
Now, for me, my personal experience was whether it was, taking me for flying sorties in my flight academy by the flight instructor,
Mhm.
or talking of my progression as the lady pilot in my airline. I've faced several disparities at various stages of my career, time and again, just because of few gender stereotypes.
Okay.
Well, the main reason impacting women's career progression, I would say, is gender stereotype. Let me explain you with a very simple example. Care and empathy are often addressed as feminine traits, while confidence, competency, assertiveness, they are viewed as masculine traits. So for men, there's no notion that they can't do the job efficiently until they fall to do so. On the contrary, women are considered as weak employees and they have to prove it wrong all the time, working 24/7, doubly hard for the same job a man does.
Yeah.
So you can see there are expectations on a woman to come forward with her enormous talent while the society is continuously grilling and testing her skills.
That's true. That's true. And
Yeah,
most importantly, like, so we have, like, this is a pressing issue across the world, but how many organizations are actually taking care of this very seriously? And because we believe that diversity is very critical, because when you do not have a diversity, you people cannot perform, like in terms of efficiency levels or kind of growth from an organization perspectives. So diversity is very critical, but how many companies or how many people are actually doing it, that's a point of concern, right? I mean, you have your
absolutely.
thought process from an aviation sector perspective, and probably it may be different for other sectors, but do you think that, like, the aviation sector as a whole, like, as a whole sector, have they taken it very seriously in last 10 years or last 5 years? Like, what is your thought process, with that, like, uh, how much they have changed, or maybe there is a shift in terms of thought process or thinking?
Okay, when you talk about aviation, I always believe that it has a vast majority of a diversified culture. But the biggest change will happen only on getting diversity along with equity and inclusion, which is not there.
Hmm.
And this has become the topmost agenda, as you can see in many industries and companies throughout the world.
Hmm.
Now, one way to increase hiring of women and other underrepresented groups is to remove photos, names, addresses from the resumes early in the selection process. And I believe gender and race biases, it can affect what happens even before the interview has even begun. So it truly matters when you don't have gender biases based in your interview selection process itself. Now, in the aviation sector, I think the government must encourage airlines to ensure women make up a certain percentage of their workforce,
Hmm.
especially as pilots. And it will not only help with the innovative mindset working together,
Hmm.
but having diversity will then foster a cohesive environment to work in, which will benefit everyone as a whole, not only as an individual, but
Hmm.
as a company as well. So I
Hmm.
think that this has to be included, diversity, equity, and inclusion. It has to
True.
be a part of aviation
So
industry as well.
it has to be in line, it has to be in sync,
Yes,
across.
absolutely,
Mm,
absolutely.
mm. And especially, like, if I talk about the society in general, whether it's country specific or worldwide, how do you visualize the societies are going to evolve, like, will evolve in the next 1 or 2 decades with respect to, like, kind of giving equal opportunities to women? Because uh, as an Indian society, we have been living here, and we understand, we know that we have the same feelings, when you look at the societies, like we say that, okay, like, women cannot join some of the dynamic jobs, maybe Indian Air Force, or for that matter, pilots, or any such aggression jobs which needs a lot of dynamism, a lot of energy. So people still feel that no, we don't want to send our girls to those kind of jobs, and the society is changing. But in your view, how do you visualize this changing over a decade or maybe two?
In India, the stakes are high as a whole. I've read a fantastic article which said that women contribute to about 18% of the gross domestic products, and only a quarter of India's workforce is female. So recently, statistically, the report even stated recruiting more women to work could help India boost its GDP by 18%. That would be approximately $770 billion over the usual annual growth. And that is a massive economic growth and progress for our country. As I told, the major reason in our country is many of the old-fashioned assumptions and perceptions about a woman. They create several difficulties, especially for the ones who clearly deserve a chance and progress to a higher position. Well, the biggest hurdle, what I've noticed, and I would, stress upon, which stops a woman from pursuing her career, especially in an unconventional male-dominated profession like being a pilot, is the lack of female pilots in terms of visibility that would set tangible results and impact to create success stories to encourage more girls to join in. Now, it is not just about breaking barriers, but allowing women to pursue their passion. And for that to happen, families need to step forward, advocating the women in their house who display ambition. In India, unless we see the trend of progression in north, south, east, west, all directions, whether you're talking about urban or rural, it will be very difficult for us to achieve the goal of sustainable equality in all aspects.
I mean, that's quite a like kind of a challenge for everyone in the society, and for the government, public and private both.
Absolutely.
And what would be your advice for the younger women, like who are willing to either join workforce, or maybe willing to join aviation sector as a specific sector for their careers, or want to do something into training or something which needs a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, kind of a skill sets. So what would be your advice, a generic advice to the young women and men, of course, in this country?
I would definitely love to see more young women coming forward, especially to carve a niche in these unconventional professions, especially in aviation. And I do get a sense of pride on seeing another female pilot. Now, if I have to give a message to all the young women out there who are striving to be recognized, I would say facing challenges head on is the only option to unblock the constraints. Situations or people that weaken your inner strength, either by words or actions, are inevitable. It's a part of your life. You ought to display calmness in those moments. Nobody can help you better than yourself. And I follow this principle throughout my life. And they need to remember that you're here for a significant purpose. Let it boost your morale. Time is the biggest power. It makes everything better. Your life will be beautiful. So to add on, I would say always believe in yourself, dream big, work hard, and shine with purpose. Everything you've been looking for is inside of you.
Yeah, that's so true. And also there are, like even before I talk about women coming forward and joining joining sectors like aviation, or for that matter any job in specific, we have our own societies, like our parents, our grandparents, it's a country full of culture, and there are so many dialects, and there is so much of things in the society. How do you advise people or societies or parents in general from, say, for example, tier 2 or tier 3 cities, who do not have any information or knowledge about the bigger world, how the world is moving ahead? I mean, what would be your advice or a couple of suggestions for those parents or societies?
That's a very interesting question, and I'm very happy, Siddharth, that you raised this point, because this is a problem in every house, what we can see. Women most often are the ones who adjust their schedules and make compromises when the needs of children and other family members collide with work. Now, household chores and children's care are every adult's responsibility, and this needs to be acknowledged and accepted by every member of the family, irrespective of their status or age, which unfortunately is the biggest factor lacking in our country. The work of caring for children is still done mainly by women, not only in our country, but in much of the world. So career planning is especially important for women who might have twists and turns in their
Mhm.
career than men. Like, for example, they take a very long break to raise a family. However, career goals will not only allow women to track their progress, but it will allow them to make alterations if the circumstances change.
Mhm.
So I would really implore to all the women who are looking forward for a change in terms of their career, passion, hobbies. The key is to focus on a plan, get
Mhm.
organized, and find the right balance between professional life as well as your parenthood, thereby breaking the continuum of doubts. Accept that there will be good and bad days, and
Mhm.
know that you're not alone. We all are in it together. So you
True.
need to discuss your feelings with your partner or with support groups. We have a lot of support
Yeah.
groups nowadays, especially women rights organizations that
Yeah.
lend a helping hand during trying times. So please
Mhm.
get their help, whatever sort they can help you. They will be out there for you. Get some help and support. Talk to your colleagues, friends, family, and you
Mhm.
need to be very clear and direct. You need to voice out what is stopping you and what are the problems you're facing. Otherwise, nobody knows what you're undergoing. Women are
Mhm.
the silent sufferers,
Yeah.
and it's time to stop as much as possible. So ask your network of friends, family for references to nannies, babysitters, daycare centers. And it's very important for a woman to be financially independent. It helps a
Yeah.
family a lot when the couple are working together so that they can share their not only professional life, the personal life as well.
Mhm.
And to do so, know that every problem in our life, it has a solution. Each one of us has the
Mhm.
unique ability to create liberating spaces.
Mhm.
So I guess, you need to take out time to work on your dream. Just go for it. And gradually things will start showing up, radiate positive energy. And soon you'll be living in abundance.
Yeah. And I think everybody has to be in sync, like the societies, the citizens or youth, government, public, private, NGOs, foundations,
True.
everything has to be in line. So what would be your sort of advice for those organizations working towards women empowerment or in the area of gender equality in specific? For example, there are foundations, there are public and private enterprises who are making decisions in line with diversity or gender equality. And now we have like kind of diversity and inclusion, like as a
Hmm.
segment in corporates around the world. Now corporates are looking out for solutions which is in line with diversity and inclusion. I mean, really what you
True.
have said is completely right. Now organizations have realized that you need to make a policy. So if I
Yeah.
talk about policy level changes or adoption, so what is your thought process for that? Like, what do you suggest these corporations to uh, you know to adopt such changes or such policies? Like, what is good for the society?
Yeah, as we have seen, there are tangible results, Siddharth, which has been happening in India as well as throughout the world. Apart from government organizations, NGOs, and other volunteering groups are working together to get this change. And though I would say in India, it's really a baby step. We have still a long way to go, but the progress is visible. One way to increase the hiring is by giving and accepting more women in your industries and your companies or your educational institutes. And the way what I told you was the companies have to make sure and have to take conscious efforts to remove tagging of person's name, addresses, and photos from their resumes in the selection process
Yeah.
to avoid the unconscious bias factor. It plays a big role in selection processes, especially. It will create the right opportunities for the people who deserve the job rather than based on genders and other nepotism based qualified personnel getting the jobs. This
Hmm.
will delete the implicit biases by truly equitable. And I feel one way to stop microaggression is to offer training on diversity and implicit prejudice starting from top to down.
Mhm.
It is going to help a lot of innovative mind, work together. Productivity levels are going to go much, much higher. And the benefits of incorporating this culture for an individual and the company as a whole is countless. Speaking of few, I would like to point out that communication barriers
Yeah.
is a big problem in industries, which will cease to exist if you adapt this culture.
Mm.
Gender bias will not be an issue. Generation gap will no longer be of any hindrances. Employees will interact with each and everyone around, so there will be no notions of forming cliques, which is usually the case in most of the offices.
Mm.
Disabled employees will be encouraged to participate equally, and most importantly, adversities to any extent, whether individual or a company, will be dealt by being open to change.
Mhm.
So you see, this culture will make every employee to be treated
Mm.
with equal respect and
Yeah,
opportunity to contribute and thrive at work.
true.
So that's going to be a
Mhm.
massive, massive change
I
we
think
can
community plays
witness.
because
Yeah.
most of like in tier two, tier three cities, women lack kind of a community. They're always like, they're lacking some kind of community based platforms or maybe some communities where they can enhance their skills to come forward because they also, they to do something, they have to come to the town or the city, right? So because in the
True,
smaller
true.
areas, with the digital inclusion being in place, I think women with like kind of with their mobiles and with the digital tools, they can do so many things like in terms of awareness, either it's maybe related to health or education or jobs. I think digital has bridged the gap between the opportunities and what is available in the rural areas. So do you think that community plays an important role for women like to come forward and uh, if they're well networked, like if they're well networked and the community helps them reaching out to kind of to more opportunities and all like.
Oh yes, Siddharth. Yeah, I think the community plays a very big role in a woman not only, having her own voice and stepping out, but moving her in a life and educating, as I told you, a woman and a girl. It is a clear-cut sign of a progressive nation. Because of COVID, digitalization has become massively influential in every part of the world. When you talk about the developments, what's happening, I think, yes, we can see the same thing going on even in rural areas because phone is a necessity which is available to every human on the surface of planet. Because of that means if we can send across some message and awareness and policies and programs which are implemented so that people can step ahead and they receive full support from the families and communities where they are residing, it will bring in about the change which we have been talking about, and the UN
Mhm.
has been working tirelessly day in and day out so that they can progress. And if these movement happens in the right direction and the progress is visible, then it is easy to achieve the goal by 2030. And if it stalls at one point or other,
Yeah,
then I think yeah, we are again heading back to what we were eons back. So that would be a
I
disaster.
mean, do you think that like the kind of skill sets that women require to develop, right? So you are a trainer yourself, you have trained a lot of people in the aviation sector and as a leadership skills and so many things. And I think, do you think it would be like it's kind of a women need a platform to enhance their skill sets to come forward because a lot of women are kind of housewives and they don't know, I mean, how to enhance their skills to come forward and do something really better in their lives. So how do they reach out to to the people like you or whoever kind of to enhance their skills? So
Oh, yes, Siddharth. Yes, good you raised this question. I have received tremendous um, responses from not only women, even men, everyone around the world for the last 2 years. The amount of emails and text messages about the query related to this topic has been rising. There has been two very important questions they have asked. First is how do they go about pursuing their career? They need to speak out. Women need to know they have their voice. We have evolved, things have changed, and it is just your thinking that there won't be any support. So I said, go ahead, first give it a try.
yeah.
You need to understand whether your family is going to support you or not.
Mm,
But if you shun yourself out and if you think we have those assumptions
yeah.
that no, my family is conservative, they won't allow me to do such and such thing, then
Mm,
you're stopping yourself from the first step. So take the first step, talk to your family, and maybe they may come out with many more suggestions, because there are seniors with a lot of wisdom. They will give you more suggestions which are required, which are applicable to that individual. And the second thing is, if you don't get support from your family, how do you go ahead in your life? Solution is, you need to approach the women groups and all, which help you. The activists, they come to your place, they sit and talk to your family about how people have moved ahead in their life, and how the woman of the family can make progress, and not only progress for herself, but she can support the family as well. And having financial double benefits, it has enormous impact to the complete family. So it's not individual, it's for the whole community. So a woman working, stepping out, or we are talking about gender equality everywhere, but it's for the nation and the world overall. So I think these two things, they need to speak up. And secondly, they need to approach the communities and the support groups which are helping in this cause. True. Has made a huge change. Yeah. And I've seen it happen in front of my eyes, and I've helped a lot many move ahead in their life. So things have changed. So it's good to know. As I told you, but we need that movement happening in every direction in our country, Siddharth. Like, it cannot be just restricted to urban. It has to be everywhere.
Yeah, so I mean, they are the answers to themselves, because they have to come forward. No one else will do it for them. They have to. So the most important aspect is, how do they get so much of energy and so much of confidence in themselves? Like, so whatever you said is completely true. But at some point of time, I think that but how do they get all the energies and confidence to come up in spite of all the family pressures in the society? You have a husband, you have a children, you have parents to look after, you have so many things to do, but she has to come forward and she has to walk alone. That's a challenge. I mean, they need help at that point of time. If someone is coming forward and holding their hands and, look, I'm there to support you, don't worry, you do this, you do that.
True.
I think it's very kind of there are unlimited opportunities, but she has to walk on her own feet, like
as I told you, they have to help themselves. Every person, whether it's a woman or a man, you need to know that no one is coming. You need to take that first move. Once you get into the action, everything works out in that direction, but you need to have that focus. You need to work hard with fierce determination, with tenacity, with grit. And only then the universe will come forward and give you channels and path where things will start falling the way you want it to be. But that first move has to be done, no matter how difficult. It is very difficult. It's not easy.
Yeah, I mean,
and God, I've seen,
God helps those who help themselves. Yeah, so
absolutely, yes, it is a daunting task for many, because you don't even take the first step and you expect things to move. It doesn't happen that way. When you talk of a simple discussion back home, if the woman of the house is not allowed to have her opinions and her to follow certain things what she believes in, then you're shunning her from the progressive world. So I would like to really implore to every families, every society in our country especially, that let her be free, let her live her own life, and let her decide, especially post-marriage, let her decide whether she wants to stay away from her career or she wants to go ahead. So let it be her choice. Don't stop her.
Yeah, I mean, we should not stop her. Let's her fly. I mean, as you said, the blue sky, or like kind of, it was very impressive, the statement that you have. It's really impressive, like, and I think you are the real role model for the women in this world. I mean, for our country and for the women, in the other parts of the world, you are the real role model. I'm really, it's really amazing, Farah. I mean, and
Thank you so much, Siddharth.
I think people like you who will make this society equitable, and there are a lot of women who are hearing to you today, probably they will get some insights that what you have been through, and kind of definitely they will learn a lot from your suggestions that you gave. And so for today in this video cast, I'm really privileged to have you, because you gave such insights which are very, very critical for our society as a whole, and of course the groundwork that you have been doing so far. And in terms of a leader, trainer, as a captain, this is something amazing. And I must say, this is simply amazing. And thank you so much for taking your time and being here today with me. And thank you for having me. I should say like that. And, you know, and it would be my privilege to have you again to talk on a different series of topics that we are visualizing these days in this world, in the pandemic and post-pandemic. I think your suggestions will be really helpful for people. Thank you so much for coming to this video cast. Wish you all the best for your for your exciting times ahead in your life.
Thank you so much, Siddharth. It's been a pleasure, and thank you for having me. Take care, and best wishes to everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and the future is bright. So
thank you so
never
much.
Give up.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.